The old space station, Obsidian 9, floated silently above the black side of a dead moon. It was once a strong military base, but now it was half abandoned, full of strange people and stranger stories. Human pilot Eli Ward stepped out of his small cargo ship. He was young, smart, and curious. This was his first solo mission, a routine supply drop to Obsidian 9. Nothing special. Just drop the boxes, sign the logs, and leave. But from the moment he arrived, he felt something was wrong. The station was quiet, too quiet. Eli pulled his jacket tight and walked into the docking bay office. A tall man with cybernetic eyes looked up. He had a scar across his face and a voice like gravel. "You the runner from Mars Outpost?" he asked. "Yeah," Eli nodded. "Supplies for Deck C." The man took the log pad and signed without looking. Then he said in a lower voice, "You'll see her soon. The widow. Don't talk to her." Eli frowned. "Who?" "The alien woman. Verena. Lives in the East Wing. People say she's mad. Lost her mind after her husband died. She talks to ghosts now. Sometimes she says names." Eli gave a polite smile. "Thanks for the warning." But inside he was curious. Later that evening, after finishing the supply delivery, Eli walked along the station's cold metal halls. Everything smelled like rust and old air. He passed a broken door that opened only halfway, and beyond it was a large observation deck. She was there, the alien widow, Verena, tall, thin, skin like silver glass. She wore a long cloak, and her eyes glowed soft green. She stood alone, looking out into the stars, whispering in a low voice. Eli should have walked away, but then he heard something. She said his name, soft, clear. "Eli." He froze. How could she know his name? He looked around, no one else was near. The hall was empty. He took one slow step closer to the deck. "Do I know you?" he asked, unsure if she would even reply. Verena turned her head. Her face was calm, but her eyes were sharp, too sharp. "I know your voice," she said. "You sound like him." "Like who?" "My husband," she replied. "He spoke like you, calm, careful, but full of questions." Eli felt a chill in his neck. "I heard he died." Verena nodded. "He found something he was not supposed to. Then they said he made a mistake, that it was his fault. They called me mad because I asked questions." Eli looked at her. "Are you mad?" She smiled slightly. "Only the blind think those who see are mad." There was a long silence. Only the hum of the station filled the air. Then Verena took a small object from her cloak, a silver disc the size of a coin. "Take this," she said. Eli stepped back. "Why me?" "Because you listened," she said. "And because your name was in his final message." He stared at the disc. His name? In a message from a dead alien? It sounded impossible, or dangerous, or both. But something deep inside told him to take it. He reached out slowly and took the disc. Felt warm. Back in his room, Eli locked the door and placed the disc on his datapad. The screen flickered. Then a voice played. Not alien. Human. Familiar. "If you find this, then they didn't erase everything. I'm Commander Rin. If you're Eli Ward, listen carefully. You're being watched. They know you're curious. And they know Verena remembers." The message cut off. Static. Eli stared at the screen, heart pounding. Commander Rin. He remembered that name, a senior officer from Mars base. He disappeared 2 years ago. No news. No funeral. Just gone. Now he was leaving secret messages with aliens? Eli leaned back. Everything felt unreal. He thought about what Verena said. About people calling her mad. About her husband. About the warning in the docking bay. Don't talk to her. Too late now. The next morning, Eli walked past the observation deck again. Verena wasn't there. Just the stars. Endless and cold. He looked at the disk again. He couldn't ignore it. Not anymore. He needed answers. Even if it meant breaking rules. Even if it meant someone didn't want him to know. As the station lights dimmed and the long night cycle began, Eli made a quiet decision. He would go back. He would find Varana. He would find the truth, no matter what the others said. It began with a sound. Not a voice. Not a knock. Just a whisper. So soft it could have been a dream. But Eli wasn't sleeping. He sat alone in his small room aboard Obsidian 9, staring at the silver disc Varana had given him. The lights were low, the air was still. Yet the whisper returned. Not through his ears, but inside his mind. Don't trust their records. He jumped up. Who's there? He asked aloud, breath quick. Silence. Just the soft hum of the station's walls. The sound of metal breathing. Eli looked at the disc again. It hadn't moved. But now he felt something strange. Like it was alive. We're watching. He slid the disc into his datapad. Again the screen flickered. The voice returned. This time it was clearer. Eli Ward. If this message reaches you, it means I failed. You must not let them erase the truth. It was a man's voice, tired but strong. Eli leaned closer. Commander Wren? Yes, it was him. Wren had vanished 2 years ago during a classified mission. Everyone said he died during a test flight. But now he was talking from the grave. They're hiding it. The Council. The Earth Command. They blamed Varana's husband. Said it was a mistake. A crash. But it wasn't. He found the real signal, and they silenced him for it. Varana is not mad. She knows. And now you're part of it too. The screen flashed, then turned black. The message ended. Eli's hands were shaking. He stared at the datapad like it might explode. Everything inside him said one thing, run. But another voice whispered something else. Find the rest. He left his room quickly. The halls were darker now, lights flickering. Obsidian 9 always felt like it was falling apart. But tonight, it felt alive. Watching. Listening. He went to the east wing again, back to the quiet place where Varana stayed. Her door was open. Inside, it was colder than the rest of the station. Strange symbols were drawn on the walls with glowing chalk. A thin fog drifted near the floor. She was there, sitting cross-legged, eyes closed, breathing slow. You came back, she said, without opening her eyes. I heard his voice, Eli said. Wren, he said your husband found a signal. What kind of signal? She opened her eyes. They thought it was just space noise. Random, harmless. But it was a message. From something far older than Earth. Older than my people too. A message from who? I don't know. But my husband called it the deep pattern. A repeating code, buried in the background noise of the galaxy. Something intelligent, hiding in plain sight. Eli frowned. You think this signal is dangerous? I think it scared the ones in power, she said. And people in power do one thing when they're afraid. Destroy. Varana nodded. They killed the mission, erased the data, labeled him a traitor. Then they said I went mad for defending him. Eli looked down. And now they'll come after me. They already are, she said quietly. But you have something they need. What? She reached behind her and pulled out a black data chip, shaped like a claw. This is the rest of the message. My husband split it into 2 pieces, one in that disk, one here. He knew they'd try to wipe it. Eli took it carefully. So what now? You listen. Then you decide. Decide what? If you're going to run? Or expose them? Back in his room, Eli inserted the second chip into the datapad. The screen lit up with an old star map, one he didn't recognize. A red dot blinked on a forgotten part of space. Coordinates. Then a second voice came on. Not Wren. Not human. It was deep. Slow. Like it was speaking through time. You see the surface. But you do not see the shape beneath. We are not coming to invade. We are already here. Eli's heart stopped. The map zoomed in, the blinking red dot now pointed directly at Earth. The message ended. Total silence. Outside, in the dark halls of the station, a loud alarm suddenly rang once, then stopped. Someone knew what he had just seen, and they were coming. It wasn't a dream. Eli knew that now. He watched the blinking red dot on his datapad. Still glowing, still pointing straight at Earth. The alien voice echoed in his mind. We are already here. Then the lights in his room blinked once, twice, and went out. Complete darkness. Eli froze. No hum of electricity. No fan noise. Even the screen went black. Then came a sound, soft footsteps, moving just outside his door. Slow. Careful. One step at a time. Not hurried. Not afraid. Eli held his breath. Someone was looking for him. He quickly grabbed the datapad, shoved both chips into his pocket, and slipped out through the air vent behind his bed. It was a tight fit, dusty, but he crawled fast through the metal tunnel, trying not to make a sound. He could hear voices now. Two of them, a man and a woman. The human has it. Check everywhere. No one leaves the station. Their voices weren't just angry. They were nervous, afraid. Eli found a small exit hatch and dropped into a maintenance hallway. From there, he ran through the quiet, half-lit station until he reached a hidden corner of the engineering wing. It was a dead zone, no cameras, no patrols. That's where Varana was waiting. How did you know I'd come here? Eli asked. I didn't, she said. But I hoped. She looked at him with serious eyes. They're coming for both of us now. Eli nodded. I need to know what's really on this map. Varana pulled out a small projection lens and placed it on the ground. The star map appeared in the air, glowing blue and red. She pointed to the blinking dot from the message. This is Lyra 7. A dead moon. No atmosphere. No cities. No known life. But your husband sent these coordinates. Varana touched a part of the map. Zoomed in. A small cave system appeared, unnatural. Perfect lines. Sharp angles. Too perfect for nature. This was once a research site, she said. Hidden by your Earth Command and a few others. A joint project. But then, suddenly, they shut it down. Why? They found something they couldn't explain. Eli felt the weight of the chips in his pocket. So all this, the erased files, the warning, the message, it all started there? Varana nodded. If you want the truth, it's there. But it's not safe. I don't care anymore, Eli said. I want answers. Before they could leave, Eli stopped by the station's ancient data center. He needed more information, something the chips didn't explain. He typed into the terminal, Lyra 7. Deep pattern. Joint project. Access denied. He tried again. Different terms. Old mission codes. No results found. Then he did something crazy. He searched his own name. One file appeared. Locked. Classified. Level 9. Eyes only. Eli wasn't even level 3. He stared at the file name. Project Mirror. Subject. Eli Ward. He stepped back, heart racing. Why was he part of a classified project? What did they do? What did they know about him? That he didn't. Eli and Varana left Obsidian 9 in silence. They used a stolen scout ship. Small, fast, quiet. As the station disappeared behind them, Eli looked at the stars. So many secrets, he said. Feels like I don't even know who I am anymore. Varana looked at him. That's because they taught you to forget. The truth is never lost. It's just buried. He turned back to the blinking red dot. They were heading toward it, to the place where everything began. As they neared Lyra 7, the ship systems began to fail. Lights flickered. Radar glitched. Then the ship dropped hard, crash landing on the moon's surface. Eli hit his head. The world spun, but he stood up. Outside, the moon was dark gray and silent. No wind, no sound, just cold dust. In the distance, he saw something. A door, half buried in stone. Metal, old, still glowing faintly with power. They walked to it. Symbols were carved on the surface. Not human, not alien either, just different. The door opened with a deep hiss. Inside, the air smelled like electricity and rusted blood. Lights turned on by themselves. And deep in the shadows, a voice whispered again. Welcome back, Subject Ward. The door closed behind them on its own. No button, no handle, just a heavy slam. Eli and Varana stood in the dark, cold hallway of the underground base on Lyra 7. The air smelled strange, not fresh, not toxic, just old. Like time had stopped here. The lights on the walls flickered to life, one by one, as if the base had been sleeping, and now it was waking up. Eli whispered, "This place gives me chills." Varana nodded. This is where they first heard the signal. The deep pattern. He looked around. The walls were metal but smooth like glass. Not built by humans. Not by her people either. "I don't think this was made by us," Eli said quietly. "No," Varana replied. "We just built over it." They walked down a narrow hallway until they reached a control room. Screens lined the walls. Most were cracked. One still worked, blinking with soft blue light. A human face appeared. Not live. A recording. Commander Rin. The same man from the chip. "If you're seeing this, you're standing where the lie began. This base was a joint project. We thought it was a scientific mission. We were wrong." Another screen flickered on. Footage played, grainy, low quality. It showed soldiers, scientists, both human and alien. They were gathered around a strange black cube, floating in the air, glowing from within. The artifact responded to signals we couldn't hear, patterns we didn't understand. Then, it showed us something. The video changed. A flash of light. Screams. The room in the footage shook violently. And then the screen went black. Ren's voice returned. After that, they sealed the truth. They erased the data, killed the project, and anyone who knew too much, including me. Varana lowered her head. Her voice was soft. "That's when my husband disappeared. He tried to get this message out, but they got to him first." Eli stared at the screen. This cube, what did it show them? Before she could answer, the lights cut out. Pitch black. A loud metal crash echoed from the hallway. Then footsteps. Fast. Heavy. Many. Varana grabbed Eli's arm. "They followed us. They knew we'd come here." "Who?" he asked, pulling a flashlight from his bag. "The Council's private hunters. They don't take prisoners." Eli and Varana ran through the base deeper underground. The map on his datapad showed an emergency tunnel at the far end. But the halls twisted like a maze. Every turn looked the same. Then the walls began to change. From clean metal to stone. From smooth to carved. Symbols appeared. Circles. Spirals. Eyes. Watching. Alive. Varana stopped. This wasn't part of the base. This is older. Eli looked around. Older than the mission? "No," she said. "Older than civilization." Suddenly, a voice rang out from behind them. "Drop your weapon, human." A spotlight hit them from above. Armed soldiers in black armor stood in the hallway. One of them wore the mark of Earth Command. A woman stepped forward. Her voice cold. "You took classified data. That is theft against Earth Council law." Eli stepped in front of Varana. "This isn't about the data. You're hiding something. We're protecting humanity. From the truth." "No," she said. "From what's coming." She raised her weapon. Varana acted first. She touched the wall beside her, pressing her hand against an old symbol. The ground shook. The floor beneath them cracked open. Eli and Varana fell, deep, down into darkness. They landed hard in a chamber below, but they were alive. Around them, silence. No soldiers, no lights, just strange statues, tall, thin, with long faces and empty eyes. Eli stood up slowly. "Where are we?" Varana walked forward, her voice calm. "Not a trap," she said. "Not anymore." She pointed to the center of the room. There it was. The black cube, floating, untouched, still glowing. Eli took a step closer. "What is it?" Varana didn't answer. The cube pulsed softly. Then, without warning, it moved. It floated toward Eli slowly, as if recognizing him. Eli raised his hand. The cube stopped inches from his palm. It vibrated. A whisper filled the air again. This time it was his own voice. "They changed you, Eli. Long ago. But the truth is inside you now." Varana's eyes widened. You were part of the project. You weren't just chosen. You were made. Eli took a step back. What does that mean? The cube flashed once, then dimmed. Far above, the soldiers were still searching. But they would not find him. Because Eli Ward had just stepped into the oldest secret in the galaxy. And it was waking up. He was dreaming. But it wasn't his dream. Eli stood in a field of red grass under two suns. He had never seen this place before. Yet it felt familiar. The wind whispered something. Not in English, not in any human language, but he understood. It said, "You were always meant to return." He opened his eyes. He was back in the chamber beneath the moon's surface. The black cube still floated nearby, pulsing gently. Varana sat beside him, watching. Her face looked older now, as if she carried the weight of 10 lifetimes. "You touched the cube," she said, "and it shared a memory." "But not mine," Eli said softly. "I saw a planet, not Earth. I felt peace, but also sadness." Varana nodded slowly. "You saw what my husband saw." Eli sat up. His head throbbed with pressure, like knowledge was trapped inside, trying to come out. "I think the cube is alive." "It is," she replied, "but not like us. It doesn't speak in words or commands. It speaks in memories, in emotions. It shows what others want to forget." They sat in silence for a moment. Then Varana pulled a small device from her cloak. A memory crystal, dark blue, glowing faintly. "My husband left this behind. I never opened it. Not until now." She placed it on the ground. A soft hum filled the chamber. Then light. Then his voice. "Varana, if you find this, I failed. They took everything. My research, my team, even my memories. But I saved one thing. A child. They never knew what they had done. He was just a boy, but they changed him." Eli stared at the hologram. He felt cold. The voice continued. "They thought they could control it. They used alien DNA, yours, mine, and combined it with human code. They called it Project Mirror. But I called him Eli." Silence. Varana looked at him with soft eyes. "I didn't know," she whispered. "I didn't know you were the child." Eli stood up slowly, shaking his head. "No, that's not possible. I'm human." "Yes," she said, "but not only." His knees felt weak. He sat back down. Everything, the warnings, the memory block, the voice inside the cube, it all made sense now. His past wasn't hidden. It was erased. He had flashes now. Not full memories, but glimpses. Cold lab. Bright lights. Voices arguing. Pain. A machine humming softly as he screamed. Then silence. "Why would they do this?" he asked. Varana sighed. "They wanted a weapon. Something that could speak to alien tech. Something that could unlock signals, decode threats, understand enemies before they struck. And I was that weapon." She didn't answer. She didn't have to. Eli stood up. His hands were shaking, but his eyes were clear. "They built me to protect humanity, but they lied to me my entire life." He looked down at the black cube. It hovered closer again. "You showed me the past," he whispered. "Now show me what's coming." The cube flashed, and Eli saw everything. A vision filled his mind. Stars turning red, systems falling dark. Ships burning in silence. Earth cities empty. No invasion, just disappearance. People gone, vanished, without war, without fire, erased. Then a final image. A tower. A tall black tower rising from Earth's oceans. And from the top, a signal. Not alien. Human. Eli opened his eyes, gasping for air. Varana caught him. "What did you see?" "It's not coming from space," he said. "It's coming from Earth. From us." Varana's face turned pale. "Then it's worse than we thought." Above them, the sound of metal echoed again. Soldiers. Drilling. They were coming down. Eli picked up the memory crystal and the cube. "We need to leave." Varana looked at him. "Where will we go?" "Back," he said. "To Earth. To the tower. To the signal." "Are you sure?" "They'll try to stop you." He looked into the dark tunnel ahead. then back at the glowing cube in his hand. I don't care what they built me for, he said. I'm not their weapon. He paused. I'm the warning they didn't see coming. The sky was on fire. Eli stood on the edge of Earth's orbit, staring through the cracked window of a stolen ship. Down below a home, blue oceans, gray clouds, lights of cities blinking like stars. But something felt wrong. It looked the same, beautiful, calm. Yet he could feel the silence spreading beneath the surface. A silence the world didn't notice yet. Behind him, Varana spoke quietly. This is where the signal is strongest. From your oceans. From the tower. Eli nodded. We need to get closer. Land near it. Are you ready? She asked. No, he said. But we're out of time. 2 days had passed since they escaped the moon. Since Eli touched the cube. Since he saw the future. They had run, hidden, stolen a ship from a rebel scrapyard. Now, there was no more running. Earth wasn't safe. But it was still home. As the ship entered the atmosphere, Eli closed his eyes. Memories, or pieces of them, floated in his mind. A small hand reaching for light. Voices around him arguing. It's unstable. We're pushing too far. He's just a child. Then a voice he now knew as Ren's. He's not a weapon. He's a warning system. And he just triggered. The ship landed near the Pacific coast, close to where the tower rose from the sea, silent, black, ancient-looking, yet clearly built by human hands. No one spoke of it publicly. It didn't appear on maps. But the signal pulsed from it, spreading across the planet like a heartbeat. Varana stared up at the tall structure. You said the message showed this. What did it mean? Eli walked toward it slowly. That this isn't about invasion, he said. It's not about aliens coming to take us. He turned to face her. It's about us becoming something we were never meant to be. They found an access panel near the base of the tower, a scanner. Eli touched it. The door opened instantly. No alarms. No challenge. Like it had been waiting. Inside, the tower was empty. No guards. No lights. Just a long white hallway with a slow hum, the signal. It grew louder as they walked. At the end of the hall was a chamber. A chair. A screen. And a voice. Welcome back, Subject Ward. You have reached final stage. Please confirm. Signal activation. Yes or a no. Eli stared at the screen. 2 options. 2 futures. Behind him, Varana stepped forward. What does it do? Eli looked down. It completes the signal. Finishes what they started. Will it destroy the planet? No, he said. Worse. She said nothing. She didn't need to. Eli touched the screen. Not to activate, just to feel it. Images rushed through his mind again. Cities asleep. Minds silenced. People living, eating, laughing, working, but without questions. Without memory. Without freedom. Perfect. Controlled. Empty. That was Earth's real plan. Not defense. Not war. Silence. A silent galaxy was easier to rule. Eli turned away from the screen. This is the choice, he said. I finish what they made me to do, or I break it all. Varana looked at him. If you break it, they'll come for you. For both of us. Earth Command will erase us. Then we tell the galaxy first, Eli said. We tell them the truth. We go public. There's a tower on Titan, she said. A rebel signal station. Old, weak, but free. No filters. Eli nodded. Then that's our last move. They left the tower without touching the system. Behind them, the signal pulsed, weak now, but still alive. Waiting. Back in orbit, Eli activated the old transmitter aboard the ship. He recorded his voice. Simple. Clear. Real. My name is Eli Ward. I was built in secret. Raised in silence. Trained to obey. But I remember now. Earth Command is lying. They're not saving us from aliens. They're saving their power by making sure no one else speaks. The signal is not protection. It's control. You don't have to believe me. Just listen. He uploads the memory files, the cube's data, and the voice of Rin. They tried to erase me, but I'm still here. And I remember everything. The message was sent. All of it. To the far edges of the stars. To anyone still listening. Now they just had to survive. Because once the truth was out, there would be no going back. Silence. Then chaos. That's how it always begins. Eli watched the stars blur past as the ship jumped through deep space, heading toward Titan, Saturn's moon, cold and far from Earth's control. He had just sent the message, the truth, the memory, the lie, out into the galaxy. And now, the silence was over. But silence does not die quietly. As they neared Titan's orbit, the ship's warning systems screamed. A fleet, Earth command ships, 6 of them, fast, armed, angry. They traced the signal, Varana said. They're here to erase it. Eli looked at the comms. The rebel broadcast tower still waited ahead. A small outpost, half broken, but still standing, still free. If they could get there, the message would go fully live. It would spread across every open channel, to every world still listening. If they failed, it would disappear. The truth would vanish again. Eli didn't flinch. Take us in. Full speed. Varana nodded. Then we finish what we started. The ship roared toward Titan's icy surface. Lasers flew past them. Bright red light burning through the black sky. The hull cracked. Sparks flew. But the outpost was close now. Close enough to see. A tall antenna. A glowing satellite dish. One final tower. Shields down. Varana shouted. One more hit and we're gone. Eli stood from the pilot seat. Get ready to jump. We land the hard way. You mean crash? He gave a quick smile. It's kind of our style. They slammed into the icy ground. Hard. Metal screamed. Glass shattered. But the ship didn't explode. And they were still alive. Just barely. Smoke rose from the wreck as they climbed out. Above them, the Earth fleet circled like wolves. Eli ran toward the tower. The door was locked. Varana raised her hand. Her fingers glowed with ancient energy. The door opened. Inside, darkness, dust, old wires, faint power. The kind of place the galaxy forgot. Perfect. At the center sat the main console. A cracked chair. Flickering lights. Eli threw the data crystal onto the reader. The screen blinked. Received. Broadcast systems online. Transmit. He stared. This was it. This was the moment the galaxy would remember or forget. Varana placed her hand on his shoulder. You can still walk away. Eli shook his head. I already died once. The boy they built. The tool they trained, he's gone. He looked at her with new strength in his eyes. This time, I speak for myself. He hit transmit. The system glowed bright. A loud hum filled the tower. Outside, the Earth fleet noticed. They descended fast, preparing to strike. The screen blinked again. Message transmitting. 17%. Then the warning sirens rang. They were locking weapons on the tower. One hit and the truth would be ashes. Varana stepped forward. I'll buy you time, she said. No! You started this. You finish it. She touched his forehead gently. Remember who you are. Then she ran outside. The Earth ships fired. But Varana raised her arms. The energy inside her glowing white-hot. A wave of force pushed back the first blast. She screamed, loud enough to shake the ice. But it was too much. Too many ships. Too much power. She fell. But she did not die for nothing. Inside, the console blinked. Message transmitting. 84%. Eli didn't cry. He didn't panic. He stood tall, hands on the console. If I die here, he whispered, then at least they'll know I lived true. The final blast hit the tower. The roof shattered. Fire burst through the ceiling. The screen went black. But somewhere in space, a tiny signal reached a listening post. Then another. Then 20. Then 1,000. The message escaped. Across the stars, across silent planets, the truth spread. Earth command lied. Control is not peace. Silence is not safety. I am Eli Ward, and I remember. On faraway worlds, people began to ask questions. Some removed implants. Others stopped taking their daily calm doses. A few even spoke the forbidden name, Project Mirror. And on a broken moon, deep in the ruins of the Titan Tower, someone coughed. Eli, burned, bruised, alive. He crawled from the wreck. Above him, the stars, brighter than ever. He smiled, because now, finally, they were listening.